Welcome back to some Wrestling Rundown.
Oh yeah.
Episode 28. This is going good.
Yeah.
We're almost 30 episodes strong.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull back the curtain. Maybe we're pushing the curtain over the WWE. Or pulling it back from pulling the big guy curtain back so you can see all the little guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giving some love to the guys that don't get the mainstream push that
Yeah.
they so rightly deserve.
Yeah, there's just so much going on that's not WWE, not TNA, that, you know, we have to say a little bit about these guys, else it's just not fair.
Yeah, and we're gonna be starting with a few results from a couple shows that we've been plugging for the last couple weeks, and Kevin Hawk is gonna give us those results. What do we have this weekend?
On the 26th, Friday, we had
Day after Christmas.
AIW's Charge It to the Underhills. Tyson Dux in the opening match defeated Brian Myers,
AKA Kurt Hawkins.
Yes, with a power slam. Beta Scott and Barely Legal defeated Tessa Blanchard and the Social Network in a 6-woman tag team match.
I was torn there. I like Heidi Lovelace and I like Beta Scott.
Louis Linden defeated Colt Cabana via ref stoppage due to Dragon Sleeper.
Interesting.
The Beaver Boys defeated Cheech and Colin Delaney in a tag team match.
You almost said Cheech and Cloudy.
I did. I almost did.
I don't blame you. That's the actual tag team.
Davey Vega successfully retained the Intense Championship against Chris Sabin with a roll-up.
Huh.
Ricky Shane Page won a 6-person scramble match. I say person because Candice LeRae was in the scramble match.
Oh,
so
yes.
it wasn't a 6-man scramble. Donst versus Mercer for the Absolute Championship ended up getting changed into a 6-man tag match.
Now, Mercer was formerly Crimson of
Yes.
TNA. Yes.
When BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs, the Forgotten, would come out and attack Tim Donst, and the Jollyville Fuckets would come out and make the save for Tim Donst, turning it into a 6-man tag match, which was won by Tim Donst and the Jollyville Fuckets.
That's an indie favorite tag team of yours.
That's just the name, for sure. Eddie Kingston would defeat Chris Hero in a grudge match with multiple back fists and a sliding knee to the back of the head. Josh Alexander defeated Uhaa Nation via spinning tombstone piledriver. And
that's intense.
M-Dog 20 would team with DJ Z from TNA, not EC3. EC3 being replaced again.
Still dudes on TV.
Yeah. Would defeat Johnny Gargano and Josh Prohibition due to Ryan Nemeth interfering, causing a distraction. And post-match, M-Dog would shave Josh Prohibition's beard.
Now, Ryan Nemeth, is that Dolph Ziggler's younger brother?
I would guess by the name.
Because at first I thought Tyler Breeze was his younger brother, but obviously not. But going by the last name, I figure that might be Dolph.
It's a better bet than most.
I'll have to look that up.
Yep. And then the next day, which was today-ish,
yes,
the 27th,
Saturday the 27th, which is currently what it is right
AAW presented One Twisted Christmas.
now. Oh,
It's twisted because it's 2 days after Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's my theory.
Hey, sounds good to me.
6-man tag opener, Zero Gravity and Marion Fontaine defeated the team of Justice Jones, Davey Vega, and Tony Kazina. Matt Cage would fight Louis Linden to a time limit draw. Colt Cabana and Dick Justice would defeat the Iron Curtain. Post-match, Iron Curtain would attack them and spray mace into Dick Justice's eyes.
That is messed up.
Davey Richards defeated Uhaa Nation. So he's 0 for 2, Mr. Uhaa Nation.
He's so big. How's he lose?
Yeah.
Who did he lose to?
Davey Richards. So it's half the American Wolf, so that's...
And he's tiny.
Yeah. Then we had the Fans Bring the Weapons handicap match.
Oh, yes. Only handicapped fans can bring weapons.
Yeah. Ryan Boz ended up defeating Dan Lawrence and Marcus Crane. We knew that Keith Walker was going to address his career situation. He would come out and actually announce his retirement from wrestling. Good on him. Everyone needs to get out at some point.
Yeah.
Then the AAW Heritage Championship was on the line. Christian Faith successfully defended against ACH. Chris Sabin defeats Heidi Lovelace.
I'm really interested to see that match.
And in the main event match, the Monster Mafia in a tag team match defeated Jimmy Jacobs and Eddie Kingston. So there you have it for results of two of the shows from the Midwest. We got AAW, AIW, two awesome promotions. Look them up if you haven't already.
You can find them both on Facebook.
Yeah, they're fantastic. They got videos. They got Facebooks. All of them guys got Twitters now.
Yeah.
And speaking of awesome promotions, the number one indie promotion all around, Ring of Honor, has got their top prospect tournament coming up. And you have some news about that, correct, Travis?
I do indeed. If you saw last week's episode 27, we were able to give you the names of all of the competitors, the 8 competitors that will be in this year's, or this coming year's, Top Prospect Tournament. We now officially have a lineup for the first round. Now, it's an 8-man elimination tournament.
Single bracket.
So we'll be having 4 eliminations at this very first show, then 2 eliminations, then 1 elimination, where we will finally get our top prospect of 2015. We will have the following matches. Jay Diesel, who will be accompanied by Truth Martini, will take on Will Ferrara. 2 guys that we've seen fairly often lately in Ring of Honor. We will be having Donovan Dijak taking on Jake Durden, the Missouri Madman. Ashley Six will be taking on Dalton Castle, a.k.a. Ashley Remington. And the Beer City Bruiser will be taking on Mikey Webb. So we will be having our first 4 eliminations on January the 24th.
I want to go for Dalton Castle.
Yeah.
But guys with the last name Webb in wrestling are notorious for being tough.
Yeah, considering he just kind of got thrown into the thing, I'm a fan of Will Ferrara. I'd like to see him get a little bit more of a push.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see. I think that the 2 that I'm interested in are Donovan Dijak and Jake Durden. Both those guys have interesting looks about them. And I don't know anything about them, so I'm intrigued to see how well they
Durden,
work.
he's the Missouri Madman,
yes.
right?
Yeah, the Missouri Madman.
I got family from Missouri, so I'm also rooting for him.
All right, fair enough.
And I'm voting for Will Ferrara, so...
And Donovan Dijak has the stamp of approval from Hanson last year, or this year's, considering
2014 winner.
It's still 2014, the 2014 winner of the top prospect. So, I have to wait and see. But all other matches that we'll be having on this show will be Alberto El Patron taking on the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels. The triple threat match for the ROH World TV Championship, Jay Lethal defending against ACH and Matt Sydal.
That's going to be a flippy-doo-dah match.
We'll have Cedric Alexander versus Christopher Daniels' tag team partner Frankie Kazarian. Mark Briscoe versus Roderick Strong, and Unbreakable Michael Elgin will take on Hanson.
Elgin versus Hanson's, I think, going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
That spawns from some beef that started when Elgin attacked Hanson during the Survival of the Fittest finals.
Yeah. I want to
dumped him on his head.
Want to make a quick note. I messed up on the dates. The tournament actually begins on the 3rd. The semifinals and finals will be on the 24th of January. So, the first round will be on the 3rd. Semifinals and finals will be on January 24th.
Yeah.
But that is it for upcoming events as far as Ring of Honor goes. I don't think you have any upcoming events.
I don't have any more. Did I do the Pro Wrestling Syndicate show on the last one?
Yes, we did talk about
go back to last week's, and you'll see the upcoming Pro Wrestling Syndicate show for, I think, the 31st of January.
Yes.
It's going to be a good one. They got John Morrison versus Sabu.
Oh, yeah. The best of now versus the best of
the
then.
Daredevil now versus then Daredevil's match.
Yeah.
I think that's the match I'm most interested in.
I just think the idea of Sabu fighting anyone who's in their prime currently is especially the high-flying, Daredevil-esque characters. It's going to be interesting to see.
Sabu for me is one of those guys that, he definitely gets a lot of flack because he's been getting older, for getting slower.
He's hit and miss.
And, but then he has his moments where, hey, he's as good once now as he was back in the day. If you watch the Hardcore Justice pay-per-view that TNA did a few years back, him versus RVD was a bust-ass match.
This is true. And
really good.
He has his moments. Age is definitely taking its toll, but hey, you never know. John Morrison or Johnny Mundo, whatever you want to call
John Hennigan is being billed on the website.
Oh, okay, John Hennigan. He might be able to pull something out of Sabu.
I hope.
He might be able to pull some youth out of Sabu in their match.
I'm gonna say if he pulls anything crucial, we don't want to pull Sabu's kidney out.
Sabu will shove it back in. He'll
duct tape it closed.
Duct tape it closed. He'll be fine.
Probably.
Now, speaking of just craziness like that, ripping yourself open, we're going to be moving on to a brand new edition of 5 matches that everyone should see. IWA Mid South edition. And you, Kevin Hawk, you have some interesting choices on your list.
Absolutely. Now, IWA Mid South is a promotion where, especially in the earlier years, the earlier 2000s, you got to see a lot of the guys who, especially from that region, before tons of promotions popped up, these guys who weren't getting a lot of chance to get major exposure. Most of the major exposure promotions were all over on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. So you got a lot of the guys out of Detroit, a lot of the guys out of Chicago, who were in that Midwest area, who got to shine there first, rather than going to Ring of Honor or TNA.
Even though most of them would eventually do that.
Yeah. So, a lot of guys like Chris Hero, Colt Cabana, CM Punk, Nigel McGuinness, a lot of these guys got big pushes thanks to IWA Mid South, which was run by Ian Rotten of ECW fame. And along with having all these great up-and-coming wrestlers coming in, they were also very well known for their deathmatch tournaments and the like of that.
Oh yeah.
We watched a few of those while I was deciding which of the 5 matches you shouldn't miss.
There's some things I wish I could unsee. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, like Corporal Robinson without a shirt on. Ugh.
I can't believe you put me through that. I thought we were friends.
But none of the typical IWA Mid-South death matches made it on my list.
Don't have to relive that crap.
Yeah.
Some of it was okay. It was just scary.
Yeah. So first off, the first match I'm going to be mentioning comes from February 9th, 2002, at the House of Hardcore 2nd anniversary show. Was a tables and ladders match. They used chairs too, so I just call it the TLC match for what it really is. For the IWA Mid South World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk versus Chris Hero. This match was approximately 55.5 minutes long.
Yes.
And it was fairly entertaining from beginning to end. Not a lot of slow spots.
No, when you get people like Chris Hero and CM Punk who are, they're able to pace themselves even in a hardcore situation. I mean, we were watching this match, and it was 20 minutes before they went and grabbed the first ladder.
Yeah. No one grabbed the ladder until 20 minutes into this match.
Yeah. For any of you that have seen the CM Punk Best in the World DVD, him and Chris Hero actually talk about this match, because this was the last match in the barn, I think it was called.
Yeah. They called it the House of Hardcore.
Yeah.
But Ian Rotten rented out this barn.
Yeah.
Thing, and
CM Punk says that him and Chris Hero were literally trying to tear the place down. CM Punk gets slammed into the wall a couple times.
Yeah, they put holes in the walls. They jump out of the balcony.
Yeah.
They climb on the rafters and kick each other while hanging from the rafters.
Yeah. Well, let's set the stage here. A usual ladder match, you've got the ring hanging down. in in what would technically be the middle of the ring, and that's where the belt is. Not this one. There's a rafter that's literally over like the left side set of ropes that you have to do aerial kickboxing in to try and grab the belt.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just a really sketchy place to have the title. But yeah, at one point you have Hero and Punk up there, kicking each other. Punk ends up falling, crotching himself on the ropes, then getting tangled up in the ropes, and it's a messed up situation.
Yeah. And as an extra bonus for all the male fans out there, Nadia Nice,
holy God,
is accompanying Chris Hero to the ring during this match. I want to see more of her.
I approve.
And CM Punk without his usual sidekicks at the time, Suicide Kid or Dave Prazak.
Yes. Great match though. Yeah,
fantastic match. And spoiler alert, CM Punk wins. I usually don't give out the results on these, but this ties into something I'm going to talk about later. CM Punk wins. It's another victory of Punk over Hero. In this series, in this feud that they've been having up to this time, where Hero had yet to have a singles victory over CM Punk. Alright, so we're going to go to match number 2 on my list, and it is going to be April 1st, 2006 at We're No Joke, and it is a no DQ match between Low Key and the Necro Butcher.
Immediately when you told me that this was a match, I was intrigued because you get the very strong wrestling style from Low Key, and you compare that to what is normally the deathmatch style of Necro Butcher, but Necro Butcher actually wrestles in this. He threw a head scissors. They were doing some chain wrestling spots, other than the use of a table and a chair, there was a lot of wrestling in this match. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, there's a bit of wrestling in this match. A lot of strong style striking. Was the big key of this match.
They legit punch each other in the face multiple times.
But yeah, it was to show, I think, that hey, these high flying, TNA X Division wrestling guy can come and go toe-to-toe with somebody as tough as the Necro Butcher. And then the Necro Butcher could hold his own as far as not being out-wrestled by a guy like Low Key.
And it starts off very hardcore because they
throw each other through the crowd.
They run through the crowd, knocking over tons and tons of chairs.
But it's definitely, when you hear Necro Butcher, when I hear Necro Butcher, I already assume, blood and guts, thumbtacks, light tubes. That's Necro Butcher's specialty.
When you hear a name like Necro Butcher, you don't expect wrestling.
A scientific match, to say the least.
You expect blood, guts, barbed wire, glass, all that craziness. That's what you expect.
Yeah. But no, it was a good match.
It was. I was thoroughly entertained the whole time.
So then we're going to move on to match number 3. This was going to be 2 years later, April 1st, 2008, at April Blood Showers. This is the closest thing to one of the IWA Mid South death matches as I got on the list. And it's a pretty gruesome match for the people who are in it. Jimmy Jacobs versus BJ Whitmer in a no-ropes barbed wire match. So this means they took the ropes down and replaced them with strands of barbed wire. So basically the idea behind this match was these guys were embroiled in a feud so heavy that in order to settle it, these two non-deathmatch wrestlers would enter themselves into a deathmatch situation.
Yeah. And there is no lack of damage done to these two. Initially it's a little slow because a lot of it's just, Irish whip into the barbed wire that's taking the place of the ropes, and there isn't a lot of damage done at that point.
But you think it's kind of like a tentative
Mm-hmm.
At first you're definitely really nervous to run into it.
Yeah. Well, and it makes sense. You were saying that these are two non-deathmatch type guys, so for them to be put in this situation, they're gonna be tentative at first.
Yeah, but then I think once the adrenaline kicks in, it kind of you go into overdrive and you start to forget. Okay.
Yeah. You add adrenaline.
The pain starts to secede, and just the wanting to move forward comes to the forefront of your mind.
The adrenaline and then hatred for the person you're going against kind of boils over, and you kind of care less about what you do at that point. And, I mean, they use barbed wire, they use tables, they use ladders, they use spikes.
Green chairs. Yeah, these guys definitely... they took it around the arena a couple times. Jimmy Jacobs repeatedly wraps himself in barbed wire to attack B.J. Whitmer.
Yeah, we won't spoil why he does it multiple times. You'll have to watch the match to find that out. But
but it was a good decent match.
Yeah, I mean,
not overly bloody for those of you who are afraid, because I think some people, if they see that I said, "Oh, I'm going to do IWA Mid South," they can immediately go, "Oh, he's going to throw in a bunch of death matches." This is going to be the closest thing you see to one of those, and it wasn't too terribly messy.
It had its moments.
It had its moments, but it's not like
It's definitely not. It's definitely not some of the things that we want. It's not a circus.
Not a circus death match.
Good God.
Not a. I call it the trampoline and barbed wire match.
It's fucked up.
Not a House of Horrors match.
Oh God, that was so. Why? And it wasn't fucking.
Fans bring the weapons with CM Punk on commentary.
Yeah.
That made that match fun, though.
Yeah, CM Punk on commentary is always good.
Yeah. Alright, enough off topic with the deathmatchy stuff. Number 4. Back in time. September 30th, 2006. At the Ted Petty Invitational Tournament, Night 2. A match between Claudio Castagnoli and Lightning Mike Quackenbush. These two guys, no matter what promotion or what kind of match you're putting them in, these two guys have chemistry that's like French fries and ketchup. Or peanut butter and jelly.
It's absolutely perfect for each other. With the fact that you have the agility and the precision of Mike Quackenbush.
He's like a surgeon in the ring.
And you have the unbelievable strength and precision of Claudio Castagnoli. It is
AKA Cesaro.
It is the perfect combination for a beautifully done match. From beginning to end, there is not one spot where you're like, oh man, is this match over? Because you don't realize that... this match is what, 17 minutes? 16, 17 minutes, something like that?
I think it's around that time, yeah.
It's 15 minutes-ish. I think the video itself is about
18
a little over, just under 18. So with announcements and then post-match celebration, blah, blah, blah. It's roughly 15 to 16 minutes. You don't realize that you've been watching 15 to 16 minutes of wrestling by the time it's over because you are blown away.
Eyes glued to the screen. You take that kind of thing, and that, Claudio and Mike had worked together multiple times prior to this, and the fact that you were also at this show, the Ted Petty Invitational Tournament, which wrestlers are known for going a little bit above and beyond what they would normally do, because it is a tournament dedicated to honoring one of their fallen brothers, Ted Petty, a.k.a. Flyboy Rocco Rock.
Of ECW fame.
So this match was very fast-paced and super-duper entertaining and kind of one of those blink and you'll miss it sort of spot fests where they have a lot of stuff like Quackenbush doing a friggin' off the second rope to the outside corkscrew arm drag. And the chest plant on Claudio's chest in the back flip.
Good lord.
That was awesome.
And the end spot, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it is literally, for a guy the size of Claudio, a.k.a. Cesaro, it is amazing to see this thing happen.
Well, just to think the mass of two human beings performing this
Yes, absolutely.
maneuver blows almost any other move out of the water.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of flippy, dangerous moves like the Canadian Destroyer, the Spanish Fly off the top rope, stuff like that.
It's like supersized Adrian Neville versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah. And then we're going to move on to the last match on my list. Number 5. I'm breaking my cardinal rule. My cardinal rule when I do 5 matches not to miss is no rematches. Occasionally, I'll put one guy in multiple matches, especially if one's a singles match and one's a tag team match, or one's a regular match, the other one's a stipulation match. So, I'll do a double on one person, maybe. If I can help it, I won't. But this time, I had to. Because 2 days away from the year anniversary of the Tables and Ladders match of Punk vs. Hero for the IWA Mid South title, on February 7th, 2003, these guys would have a rematch. No longer enemies, but now friendly rivals. These guys would have a 2 out of 3 falls match for the IWA Mid South Heavyweight Championship of the World at the aptly titled show When Hero Met Punk. During this rivalry with Punk and Hero, now that it's more of a friendly rivalry, these guys have been going to a lot of time limit draws in their matches, tag team matches, singles matches, going to 1 hour time limit draws. So in order to make sure this didn't happen, Ian Rotten placed a 90-minute time limit on this match. Giving them an extra half hour, so even if they do go over the 60 minutes, there's, it gives them more time to finish this match.
Mm-hmm. And it's 2 out of 3 falls.
2 out of 3 falls.
Now, this is the only match on the list that I haven't seen yet. Because it is an hour and a half long.
Yes.
So I haven't
Take
had the
into
chance.
consideration, I'm going to tell you that these guys definitely do a lot of really basic but intricate work for the first half hour of the match. Is all very simple, all very a throwback to old school WrestleMania 4 style wrestling. Things start to pick up at about the half hour mark, where they start throwing, they start doing slaps and forearm exchanges during the match. Nothing really crazy hardcore happens at all during the match. But even the longer the match goes, the more it picks up in intensity, which is amazing to think. The longer these guys are going, the heavier stuff they're pulling out after having already wrestled for 30 minutes. Now they're going to start running around and throwing strikes and dives. An hour into the match, they're going to start pulling off the top rope moves and stuff like that. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match with a 90-minute time limit. But take into consideration that Punk takes the first fall at past 58 minutes into the match. It's 53 minutes and 56 seconds. So almost an hour into the match is when the first fall happens.
That is amazing.
And he knocks Hero out with a Shining Wizard.
That works.
Absolutely. And then you only have to wait about 15 minutes for the next fall to happen. But Hero takes the second fall over Punk with the Pepsi Plunge.
Ooh.
Hero knocks Punk out with his own finisher. And then and that's at 68 minutes and 16 seconds. Wow. So then they only have about 20 minutes left of this match. Mm-hmm. They start going crazy on each other. Punk hits Chris Hero with his own finishing move, the Hero's Welcome, and puts him in the Hangman's Clutch, Hero's submission hold. Lots of back and forth, and they do a backwards moving powerbomb off the top rope, Hero to Punk. The third fall comes in at 89 minutes and 56 seconds. Both men simultaneously pin each other.
Oh, God.
Seconds before the time runs out. The bell rings, the referee says this match is a draw. Ian Rotten comes out and says this match has to resume and go into sudden death. First fall wins.
Now keep in mind, he's already put this 90-minute time limit so they don't go any longer. But he's like, no, fuck this. It has to go longer.
There has to be a winner.
That is phenomenal. The fact that you're able to go 90 minutes and in the last couple seconds pin each other, that is beautiful work.
And then, finally, 2 minutes and 13 seconds into overtime, we get the deciding fall. I'm going to leave it to you guys to watch whether CM Punk retains the IWA Mid South title and stays sort of undefeated in singles competition against Chris Hero, or does Chris Hero finally get his first singles victory over Punk in IWA Mid South? So there you have it, folks. 5 fantastic matches. TLC between Punk and Hero. Low Key versus the Necro Butcher in a surprisingly fantastic match. The no rope barbed wire match between BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs. Claudio versus Quack and Bush in a short but amazing match. And then the 90-plus minute 2 out of 3 falls match between Punk and Hero, which ends up being like a 2.5 out of 4 falls match. I don't know how to divide these fractions. The fact that in a 2 out of 3 falls match,
there's legitimately, it's a 2 out of 3 falls match and there's 4 pinfalls.
It blew my mind the first time I heard the commentary, where the commentator says the match has ended in a 2 out of 3 falls match and both men are tied at 2 falls apiece. That's not allowed to happen. You broke my brain.
Now, the great thing about these matches is they're all pulled from IWA's top 18 matches, correct?
Yes. IWA, coming up on their next anniversary. Their anniversary shows, I think, are in February.
Sounds about right.
Are gearing up towards the next anniversary show, and they've released what they consider their top 18 matches. And each one of these matches is on their top 18 list. So you can find it that way on YouTube, and you're going to also be posting links down in the description.
Yeah, every time we do 5 matches not to miss, I always post the links to the matches, any of them that I could find. And all of these will be on IWA's YouTube channel. They'll all be in the description, so be sure to subscribe to IWA, because they've got a bunch of other great matches.
They've got
the 8-man tag match that we watched.
Yeah, 8-man tag, which is friggin' Ace Steel, Danny Daniels, CM Punk, Matt Sydal versus Stone, Nigel McGuinness, Claudio, and Chris Candido.
Yeah.
They have 2 death matches between Necro Butcher and Toby Klein.
We watched one of those.
They have Heidi Loveless versus
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace. Couldn't remember her name. In a Falls Count Anywhere match, which involves Congo Kong interrupting at the end.
And snow.
There was snowing outside. There's Tyler Black versus Jonathan Gresham.
That was a great match. That was a runner-up for this.
There is a Chris Hero versus, I can't even remember the guy's name. But it's a match where you can only win by submission or knockout.
Nice.
So a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah. And
the infamous Samoa Joe versus Necro Butcher match is on there too. So yeah, there's tons of stuff to check out on this thing. Go watch all the matches. They also have a couple guys cutting promos towards upcoming shows on their profile. So keep checking out IWA Mid South. They've been around for a long time compared to a lot of the promotions we talk about, and hopefully they're going to keep going strong.
Absolutely. But that is it for the indie news this week. Be sure to stick around for other videos. If you've been keeping up this week, we already had Streak Week. We had the Raw review. We're going to be doing the midweek wrap-up and the SmackDown rundown coming up. So be sure to check those out. And, yeah. Merry Christmas again.
Merry Christmas. And we probably won't see you before Happy New Year's.
Yeah. So we'll see you then.
See you in 2015.
What?
Well, next video. I'll probably say that again after SmackDown.
Yeah.
Didn't think that through.
Now you did.
I did now. you guys know the plan already. Maybe I won't say it just to throw you off.
What?